everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. I am Kiki, your host. My pronouns are she, her. And today I have a new guest. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Corey. I'm in the band Face Yourself. I play guitar and do the backup vocals.
Hell yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about Face Yourself? You've been gaining a lot of traction and attention, but
Yeah,
there are a lot of us who don't know you just yet.
we're a relatively young band. I mean, we're about 2.5 years old, and we kind of just decided from the get-go, let's just pump out some music here. Let's get our foot on the map. Let's get used to working with each other. Because
Uh-huh.
beforehand, when we didn't know each other, few of us knew each other, but all of us together as a group didn't really. So after we released our first three EPs, we actually got hit up by a couple record labels and ended up signing with Sumerian. And it's
Uh-huh.
been a great journey so far. We just recently put out our second EP with them called Fury. And while I'm at home here for personal reasons, the band is currently on tour with Signs of the Swarm, Mental Cruelty, 1056. I got to play a couple shows with them. The tour package is killer, and the guys in every band are killing it. So I'm really proud of everyone in that tour package there. I wish I was there with them still.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And you're still doing band things, even though you cannot be on the road with them. But that's so cool of you. Thank you so much for your time. It
Of course.
means even more now.
Yep. Still writing, still keeping up with the group and helping them where I can from here. Only so much I can do, but when I can help, I want to help.
Absolutely. But tell me a little bit more about that. You just mentioned really quickly all of your EP history, and this might be the second one that you are releasing with Sumerian Records, but it's all in all the fifth, if I'm counting correctly.
Yeah, right. We all got together and formed the band before we went public. It was like late 2022, I'd say November, so probably about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we came out in March in 2023 with our first EP, followed that up in the summer with a second one, and then in the fall of 2023 with a third one. So 2023 was very busy. 2024, we took a bit of a break to get all situated with Sumerian and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we released Martyr earlier this year, and then Fury is our fifth. So three EPs that are independently released and two under Sumerian.
Damn, which makes about 25, 30 songs total?
I believe each EP was 5 songs. One of them might have 6. We, we have so many that I can't keep track of them on top of my head. But yeah, 25 to 30 songs somewhere in there.
Right. How many of those are part of your set list?
So it depends on the tour. It depends on what we are given. But for our first show, we played a pretty darn good amount of songs. Obviously, we were co-support Signs of the Swarm, really awesome dudes. Of course, we're on tour with them now, but they've been with us since the beginning. They headlined our first show, and so we had a longer set for that. But for this current tour, we're playing, I think, 7 or 8 songs. Some of them are shorter, some of them are longer. So we would play all of them. Honest to God, we would play all of
Right.
them. But there's only so many we could play. Especially with this tour, though, we're promoting a lot of Fury stuff. So we're playing about half of the Fury EP. But we're playing a little of something off of every EP.
Are you seeing good reactions from people who actually know your older stuff already? Older?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people. They dig everything. It's pretty awesome. We see a lot of crowd participation for pretty much every single song. It's kind of awesome because in the deathcore space, as bands progress throughout the years, you'll see the split between the old and the new a lot of the times, and it seems like everyone kind of jives with everything that we've been releasing, which is pretty sweet. I gotta say, I'm proud of that.
Yes, absolutely. That's incredible. Can we go a little bit back to the roots? Back to your origins, if you want, even your personal upbringing. How much music was in your life growing up?
A lot for me personally. My brother was a big influence on me. He introduced me to like the Nirvanas, the Metallicas, the
Hmm.
AC/DCs, Led Zeppelins when I was a kid. And then Guitar Hero took over the world, and I was obviously engulfed in that
Yeah.
as well. Rock and metal have always been a part of my life. Played guitar since I was 11, and I
Hmm.
did some high school drumline stuff in the marching band when I was in junior, senior year. So I have a little bit of a percussion background there. So I've dabbled in everything. After school, I had another band that still active today, but I do vocals in that full time. The
Right.
the nice thing about my background personally is I can put input onto anything. I feel more well rounded. I don't feel like I'm out of my league unless I'm talking with someone who is just wildly miles better than me. I can name people off the top of
Mhm.
my head, but I'd be here all day.
Yeah, that's so cool. How much do you write? How big is your contribution to Face Yourselves songwriting?
The contributions to the band, it's been split up pretty equally, but from the get-go, the first EP, that was entirely Thomas. So
Okay.
that spawned from Eric and Thomas kind of saying, "Hey, let's start something here." And I got involved being a client of our drummer Eric, who runs Square Up Studios for music videos. Most people would know him from the To the Hellfire video for Lorna Shore. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was a client of his, and our guitar player Dave and Kyle were also clients of his. So that's how we all kind of melded together. And we already had this first EP, minus Gross Bakar,
Mhm.
which was written in Eric's basement the last night we all met up for the first EP. After that, it was collaborative efforts from everyone. So we have
Mhm.
a song from Eric, we have two songs from Eric, a song from Dave, and two songs from Thomas off of Death Reflections. Tales of Death, which was my personal favorite one to write. That's our third independent EP. That was Thomas and I, for the most part, writing pretty 50-50. It would be I'd write a song and send it to him for input or vice versa. And it was a
Okay.
lot of fun. It was very engaging. Martyr, I kind of sat out a little bit for because a lot of the material that was used for Martyr was stuff that was written from like EP 2 and 3 that we ended up using for Martyr. And a lot of that stuff wasn't mine,
Mhm.
but we still all had input on it, of course. Fury is the last one we just released. That one is probably the most even split over everyone involved. Everyone was in the studio together. Everyone was giving their input. There's stuff that I wrote that Dave put orchestral stuff over. There's stuff that Eric wrote that Dave tweaked up. There's stuff that Thomas wrote that Eric and it's awesome being able to collaborate like that. So we went from a lot of the stuff is on one person's lap to everyone's involved, which is pretty
Yeah.
crazy considering there's six of us in the band.
Yeah. And also, not all of you live in the same place, if I understand correctly.
No, no, no. So we originally started out, I was in Colorado. I am in Colorado.
Mhm.
And Yasmin was in France, and then in the middle
Right.
was New York, New Jersey. Yasmin has since moved out towards where I am here, so now it's a
Okay.
Colorado, New York, New Jersey thing, but we make it work. It's the internet is a great tool.
How do you make it work? That's something I have actually been thinking about a lot, also from my personal band experience in the recent year. And it's really difficult because I feel like people still have this ideal of what has been becoming, in my eyes, more and more utopic. The band grows up together, they rehearse in someone's garage, they always hang out together, and then someone rents a van and goes on tour or something like that. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's less and less that way in a time and age of remote work and digital nomadism. I feel like there should be more possibilities. How do you do it?
I definitely agree with that opinion, and the reason why we're able to do what we do so well is because all of us have kind of gone through that phase already.
Mhm.
My other band, Levitated, that I do vocals in, that was practicing at our drummer's basement, playing local shows. Thomas went through that phase with a band called Sentinels to the point where they were
Mhm.
touring. Eric played local gigs and stuff as a drummer, but ended up getting his feet in the water into the industry by doing Square Up Studios. Dave is a professional musician, so he has been living and breathing music for the last, I mean, geez, probably 15 years or so. And then Kyle, he's been through bands. I mean, he had a band with Ben Dewar in high school, Shadow of Intent vocalist, so they went to school together. So all of us have kind of gone through the practicing in the garage, playing at the dive bar, show stuff. So when we met up, we were kind of all seasoned on knowing how to send stems to each other for
Mhm.
recording, making notes in an organized fashion. So having that hard part out of the way kind of makes it a much more well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
And also you learn over the years when you're going through the struggles of just figuring it out in your first steps into doing music, what you can do to kind of get through challenges. And one of the things that we had a big problem with was Yasmin was not able to record in her apartment when she first moved stateside.
Okay.
So we ended up actually recording. I took my laptop, my interface, a microphone, and a cable, and we just recorded demos literally in the back of my car.
Wow.
And so that was, yeah, that's like you do what you need to do to get the job done.
Mhm, mhm.
And that was one of the funnier extremes that we went to. But yeah, it's pretty much just, here's what I wrote. Let me get some notes on it. Oh, I like this. Screw notes. Give me the stems and I'll work with it and send you back my version. And so now
Right.
you have, version A and version B in your Dropbox account,
Mhm,
and you can kind of compare them, drag drop in. One recent example I can give of this working perfectly, to like where the end result was just something I couldn't have ever imagined, is the song Carousel of Violence off of Fury.
mhm.
That was an instrumental that I had wrote. It was pretty different from what it is now. I gave it to Dave. Dave and Eric sat down with it, wrote something that was totally different, pretty much with the bones of what I had,
Okay.
and I didn't jive with it. So now we have A and we have B, and then Dave actually came over to my house for he was doing a wedding gig out here in Colorado, and we literally sat there inside of Logic, basically building a song with the blocks that were from each different version, and then that
Yeah.
became the final version that's on the album. That is like, I
Wow.
believe, the most fluid, the least amount of back and forth that there was on a song, where that
Mhm.
worked perfectly, in my opinion.
That's incredible. Okay, so you've mentioned several pieces of software right now. What are the tools that integrate in this kind of workflow that you are establishing as a band?
Yeah. So Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever cloud storage is something that you can all log into to pull files
Mhm.
from. Stems being what I record. So like my vocal takes, my guitar takes, the drums that I program, the bass that I program for demos. We export them, we put them in a folder, they go up to Dropbox.
Mhm.
Thomas wants to work on the song, he downloads them and he'll put them in his DAW. So we use different DAWs to edit audio and record. So I use Reaper, Thomas uses Cubase, everyone else uses Logic. They all do the same thing. It's just a different skin on a different take. We're all just used to our own flavors of the same thing, essentially.
Mhm. All right. I feel like the whole technology aspect of it, it's supposed to have been democratized nowadays. Like everyone can record at home and everyone can shoot an amazing music video on a smartphone. And also the big stars are doing it too. You know how Billie Eilish and her brother produced the whole album in their bedroom or
Literally,
whatever.
literally.
Yeah. At the same time, I feel like it's a little bit of a myth, or it sounds too good to be true because it still requires of you a huge time investment in getting to know all of those tools and developing production skills that as a musician, back in the day, you wouldn't necessarily have needed to. All of these different and complicated processes. And now I'm just wondering what the acoustics in your car were.
Pretty dead. Honestly, they were probably better than the room I normally record my vocals in. It was pretty good. We do have a recording studio here. However, some bands do come in and practice, but we're able to make it work. You may or may not be aware of the vocal soundboard that we did. It was Yasmin, Kyle, and I doing backing vocals. Just like you click a button. We got a couple content creators, Elder Emonk, Orion Reacts on there. You click a button and it just makes a bleh or a dumb line you'd hear in a deathcore song. It was just an April
All
Fool's
right.
joke. But we went to this studio and there would be bands practicing, and at the end of takes, you would hear the band playing in the room next door. So we actually like, it was like, oh, we're in a studio, but it's not that great. So the car ends up being the best choice sometimes. You just got to find a quiet place to go to.
Right, right. And just not caring where you are and what people, passersby who might see you screaming in your car at each other might
Yeah, no,
think.
we laugh at it. We laugh at that thought. Like, people are looking like, what the hell are they doing in there?
But also if you can grab that, that's obviously amazing content for socials as well to keep promoting your music. Yeah. That
Yeah, I
is so
honestly, I
cool.
gotta set up a next time we do it, I think I am gonna get a dash cam set up just to see if we can capture that, because I agree, that would be funny content.
Yes, absolutely. As you were mentioning, everyone contributes to the songwriting. How is it with the lyrics?
So with the lyrics, we typically give that to Yasmin for the most part. So she'll write an outline of a song, basically like how you would write like a poem or a story, essentially.
Mhm.
It doesn't match up with any of the music; it's just pre-written lyrics. And then we'll go in and we will try, whether it's Dave, me, Kyle, or we're in the studio with Joey Sturgis. All of us have provided input as to what should be placed where, substitute this word with that. Oh, maybe this line doesn't work here. Maybe we can put this later in the song. So
Mhm.
she kind of comes up with most of it, and then we just kind of help her put the pieces together. However, there are times where we change up, or she wants to change up because of how the instrumentals were kind of laid out. Sometimes things happen last minute. It's just the nature of the beast with music.
Mhm.
Like Predatory off of Martyr, there's an unreleased demo that she wrote those lyrics for that is sitting in the Dropbox still, which ended up going onto Predatory. So things had to change a little bit because she wrote the lyrics around a little bit of a different flow of the song. And I think the quick part where she's like "Ticka, ticka, 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 ticka," that part, if anyone's familiar with that song, that one we had to come up with something there, and we're thinking, why don't we do something really fast here just to switch it up? So that was like one of those collaborative parts where it was like, we have this, we want to change this up because something was decided last minute. What do? We take Yasmin's stuff and we interpret it a little differently around what song we're working with.
Do you also have conversations about the topics that go into those songs? Yasmin has also been very socially critical with her lyrics, and I also wanted to focus a little bit on the theme from Fractures that's
Mhm.
about beauty standards and how they can be very violent, even.
Yeah. Yeah. Fractures is exactly about that. Beauty standards and self hatred, mainly surrounding the portrayal of just the best out there. At all times, you're constantly being fed who's the best. There's always someone better than you, no matter how hard you try. And Fractures is kind of just the exhuming of that frustration, essentially, the anger that comes with it.
Okay. Was that something that you had also been thinking about, talking about, that you as a band had conversations around?
Big time, actually, with that song in particular, because that was actually the last one that was written for Fury, is more of like a hardcore vibe. So we wanted something that was a lot more visceral, a lot more in your face. There's not really much of a metaphor here. If I say F you in the song, that's what it means, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So she didn't really go the story route. Where a lot of the other songs are with
Right.
metaphorical references, it's just straightforward in your face, just
Gory even.
explaining how it makes you feel when you're watching constantly on social media and everything. Just everyone's
Mhm.
better than me. I hate myself, and just the anger that that creates.
Oh, right. So it wasn't even about these archetypes or these role models even. It's just about the feeling that I get because I can't help compare myself to
Literally,
everyone
yep.
and anyone out there.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what she's told us. Yeah, because she wrote that front to back. Like I said, we did help her with some of the placement, but I believe that song was pretty much all her.
Do you have some personal insight around those topics? On the podcast, we talk a lot about feminism and about the
Mhm.
patriarchy in general and how that also affects men and male presenting persons, and how there are also lots of pressures to reflect a certain stereotype or to always be the tough guy, the strong one, etc. And there are also aesthetic goals or molds that you have to fit, especially as a musician, or not especially, but also as a musician. There's like some specific role that you also have to play. And for you in this case, not only in Face Yourself, but as the front person of your own band.
It's interesting, right? Because in recent years, the crosshairs of social media and everything that, Fractures is about, that has fallen under men too.
Hmm.
Because I remember growing up, you look around, middle school, high school, college, you're watching women and girls just try to be matching whatever's popular at the time. Makeup, in my opinion, is like a big thing that I see. It's like putting on a shirt. I need to have this on or else I don't feel right, kind of thing,
Right.
which I personally strongly disagree with. But it's weird watching that happen to women and girls growing up and having that get over it kind of mentality that most men
Hmm.
have with it. Nowadays, especially with the younger generation, I would say people younger than me, but I directly kind of correlate with this too, specifically with physique standards nowadays with
Mm.
these performance enhancing drug TikTok stars, Sam Sulek, the Trend Twins, and all this. They call it
Right.
like gym inflation or whatever. As a person who's active myself, you constantly comparing yourself to other people, and that's not
Hmm.
something that men traditionally had. So understanding that position that women have always had over the years,
Mhm.
It really makes you understand and respect the amount of perseverance you have to deal with the level of just mental strain it puts on you to constantly be seeing things that really at the end of the day they're not real. You're fed an algorithm on social media of people using filters, people using
Mm.
makeup, people that have professional personal trainers and dietitians to get to the best result possible when you're just a guy working a 9 to 5 job trying to pay your rent and go to the gym to
Right.
stay healthy.
Right.
And women have always dealt with that, but it's definitely starting to affect multiple people, especially nowadays with AI
Mm.
and with the more realistic implementations of it. There's just some ridiculous standards that are set for both sides of the gender spectrum, and it is disheartening because you see men suffering from the physique standards the same way women do. You see men that are always saying, "I got to be strong, I got to be tough, I can't ever let my emotions out."
Mhm.
On the flip side, you are also seeing people counteract that, which is kind of nice to see. However, the fact that it's only happening now that men are starting to deal with this problem is a little eyebrow raising to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm married, I have my wife. Every now and then, she goes through the same kind of phases I do, where it's like, whatever I do at the gym, I don't feel like it's enough. Oh, whatever I
Mhm.
eat or whatever I do, it's like I feel ugly, I feel this or that, and it's just you can't compare yourself to what's online.
Right.
You're being fed the best of the best at all times when in reality, the best is a subjective matter. You're used to seeing yourself all the time. So when you see something for the first time that's wildly different, that's beautiful, you don't appreciate yourself as much as that. I think that's
Mhm.
what it kind of comes down to is yeah, social media is the biggest plague. And there's been scientific studies on that too. So
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
crazy.
absolutely. I was going to say it's really difficult to take away that pressure from oneself because it's not even that, like you were saying, we see the best of the best. We see the polished versions of
Hmm.
people. We also ourselves want to only post polished things, and at the same time our brains have become so used to seeing that when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we now have this distorted image and already all of those expectations for ourselves of things that we will never see, and it can be really tough. And the other side that you were also mentioning right now, it's the health aspect, wanting to go to the gym and to eat healthy, to stay healthy, how difficult it is to just maintain this human body healthy.
Especially in
and
America.
and it's so time consuming and
Yes.
expensive even. It's just a vicious circle to have that pressure and that stress on your mind, and that makes you tense up your muscles and or develop eating disorders or all those types of things as well. And it's just so difficult to balance all of that. How do you still healthy mentally and physically, not only in day-to-day life like that, but also on tour?
So the biggest thing to preface this with, just like social media, no matter how much we put out there, there's rough days. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean, it could be freaking Pitbull partying, and you see the party, you don't see the hangovers the next day. So,
Right.
but we're not exactly party people to that extent. For example, I'm just using that as kind of like a here's a big guy that you could think of, but
Hmm.
for us, though, we all tend to, we watch what we eat. We make sure that we're not, just eating fast food all day, every day. Unfortunately, when you're on the road, especially, it's really tough to find anything that is healthy. So, especially when you're done loading out from a venue, it's 1 in the morning. What are your options? Yeah,
Right.
that's that's where the main concern comes in is just on the road. But we all maintain the Black Card Planet Fitness membership. We do it for showers. We go in, we lift weights pretty much every day, every other day, just to keep fresh
Hmm.
on tour. So yeah, we very much take our health into consideration on tour. We're always taking our our vitamins, we're eating our veggies and stuff. But
Nice.
some days it is just not possible. Some days are just crazy, crazy, crazy busy, and some days are just you're in the middle of nowhere. I mean,
Right.
there's a big difference between playing in LA when you have food trucks that are out serving healthy food at 2 in the morning versus you're in Kansas and there's not a gas station for 300 miles.
Damn, yeah. Very good point. And it's just so important to just know that you're doing your best as well, to not stress too much about just being super healthy, but knowing that you're doing
Exactly.
your best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and another thing that's important I believe all of us in the band are definitely of the mindset of, okay, I need a day to process whatever's going in my mind.
Hmm.
So, physical health and mental health are a big part of what we do. So, if I'm feeling a certain way, I will do what I need to do to help out, and then I will kind of dissociate and let everyone know, like, I feel like I'm going to be a hindrance more than a help today, so I'm going to step aside. And I think everyone's kind of on that same page, and we're all accommodating for it. So,
That's amazing. That's really good. Because at the end of the day, even when it's your job, it shouldn't feel like extra pressure. So that's really good that you have that kind of communication and can be accommodating and be compassionate with each other.
yeah,
That's really nice.
I am blessed with the group of people I work with. I gotta say.
That's so nice. And you were also just mentioning 9 to 5s. Do you have a day job?
I'm in the parking lot right now. Yep, that's why I'm home. Couldn't get the time off approved, but yeah, like you said, music shouldn't feel like a job, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because when we were on tour, I did all of our July tour with Not Enough Space in Crystal Lake and Victims, and we ended up doing way more work than I would ever do here at my 9 to 5. And
Mm,
the days just flew by. Like I was just having fun the whole time. So, oh, unload, load the trailer. Oh, I feel like crap. Oh, we still got to get this done. That like you're in the zone and it feels good. You feel like you're on vacation, but you're working way harder than you do when you're at home. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to put it. It doesn't feel like work, but you're working way harder than you normally would.
Yeah. Both things can be true at once. It is work because you are being professional, you have standards, you have a quality that you have to maintain, and at the same time, you really enjoy it and you love what you do. And also, you're allowed to feel tired from it as well, even though you're having fun. Yeah, all of those things are important to just be mindful of the effect that that can have on your health and on your psyche. And yeah, that's just really good that you can have all those talks and make it work like that.
Yep. At the end of the day, we're all human and we're all adults and understand that. So it's just a matter of communication and understanding that everyone's a person, not a robot.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you want to tell our audience about Face Yourself, about yourself as a musician, just in general?
No, other than we're keeping the train going. We may have put out 5 EPs in a short amount of time, but we got more cooking. That's all I can really say for about now.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm so excited about it. I just started listening to Face Yourself a few months ago, to be honest.
Awesome.
One of my best friends recommended it, and I was just like, I need more. And you are definitely delivering more and more really cool music. Yes, to everyone
Appreciate it.
out there, stay tuned and let's see what the future brings to Face Yourself. I hope that we can see you over here in Europe sometime soon. And that's it from us today. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bleeding Metal podcast wherever you're listening. And also, all of this is a video podcast you can watch on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will see you very soon. Corey, thank you so very much. Have a lovely rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for having me. Bye.